so you cleaned it out with K-pop.
Yeah.
And the only drugs available, they tried everything. The ties themselves suffered from jungle ulcers, and they had all sorts of patches they sold, which were pieces of paper with bitumen on them. But nothing seemed to control them at all.
I ask you, did you know of an Argyle lieutenant in that camp by the name of Ernest Gordon?
Oh, I knew Gordon, yes.
Yeah. Did you know that he was gravely ill at one stage?
No, I didn't know that much. You know, I knew he was in the camp. Yes.
Yeah. Well, also talking about some of the ties that helped the POWs.
Well, there's only one Boom Pong that I knew of.
Yes. Did you ever see him yourself?
No.
No.
No ties were allowed in the camp. If there were any ties in the camp, the only exception was a little Thai boy used to come in twice a week when we were running a canteen with Gordon's father, and he used to bring in supplies for us to sell. But that was later on.
With John's father?
Yes.
Yeah.
But that was later on in Chung Kai and elsewhere, when they finally allowed us to have some money. The money situation is too complicated to discuss, you know, because I think it came via it's either Rome or the Swiss. There was a deduction made by the Japs, which they literally said they were saving for us. And then there was all officers had a deduction made for their
rations and quarters.
Rations and all that. And of course, you know, the bulk of it went to the Red Cross. And then what was left we got, and the men got a certain amount. And after about a year, even that was chopped. And they even chopped money from anyone who wasn't actually working.
Yes. And if you had money,
yeah, well, you could
you buy? Yeah. Could you buy anything?
The canteens that John's father was running, they had, you know, a few articles you could buy, and mostly duck eggs, bananas, of course, and what fruit was in season, peanuts, little pseudo sausage rolls. There's no meat, and little concoctions like that, and they made a type of burnt rice coffee. And you could get native brown sugar, which I don't think the doctors approved of very bad. You know, they thought that gave you squidders, but we used to use quite a lot of that.
Now, which camp did you go to next? Chung Kai.
Well, from there I would have gone. I'd have gone via Tamuan, and from Tamuan I made my way with a party up to Tarsu.
So let's tell me a little bit about Tamuan camp.
Oh, just the ordinary chores.
Was it bigger? No, but was it a bigger camp than Chung Kai? Or?
Oh no, very small.
Was it well developed or?
Oh, well run, and yeah. But as far as I can remember, it was really a staging camp, you know, on the way. Tarso would have been. You see, I didn't go to Kinsyke, but Kinsyke was on the way, and that was a very big camp, and it was already doing a trace in certain part of the railway before the other one came down to it.
Yes, but now when you're at Tasso, had the railway progressed past Chonkai, maybe crossed the Wampo Viaduct, and was it now at Tarsal? Or?
No, it was probably at Wampo, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so what sort of a camp, how big was Tarsal camp?
Oh, it was quite a large camp, but nowhere near the size it finally grew to.
No.
In its original state, when I got there, it was only still small, and it was a rotten camp. Several reports later, say the same thing, that it was quite a terrible camp. But so many people were going up through there, and of course the railway was progressing down.
Yes.
So that it had to be rebuilt and enlarged, and it grew to enormous size. And just before I was due to go back, because I was sick again, they had the first cholera just outside Tarsal.
But did you ever go anywhere near Tonchan, the Tonchan camps?
No.
Okay, why? Can you just roughly fix by a date, just roughly, when you were in Tarsal? Well, maybe I can approach it another way. Let's take the two big groups that came up in 1943.
43 originally. So it was just before 44, end of 43.
Yeah, so you didn't see, like F Force, that 7,000 men march through Tarsal when they were going north?
No. That's why it probably, was obvious it had to be enlarged.
Because you know that when they came up, they didn't cross the river near Kanchanaburi at all. They kept going up the they kept going up the beside the Mae Klong River.
Yes.
And it was a 2-day march. First of all, they went to a place called the Temple Camp, and I don't know if that rings a bell to you at all.
No.
And then they went to a place called Tardan, and they crossed there, and then they walked in, and that they either had bridging or barges to get across there.
Yes.
So that, well, I think I don't need to take it any further. I just wanted to check whether you'd seen these big parties marching through.
No.
And what were you doing whilst you were in that camp?
Oh, just the ordinary chores, readjusting what railway line had been done and dug out, and there was so much maintenance due even before the thing was finished. You see, with the washouts when they were flooding, and, so there's a continual work parties being ordered.
Did you know the boss in that area, Colonel Knight?
Oh yes, I knew Knocker Knights, as we call him. Knocker Knight's original career, he was a territorial colonel of the 4th Norfolks, and he was, I think he was manager of some big electrical company in Norfolk. And I can remember him so well, right back at the beginning, when, after we were captured, our brigade, the 5-4 brigade, what was left, we all went into a burnt out RAF depot, and